My cup does say daddy cool. Fuck. uh, Hello and welcome to the Perth Gaming Crew Show, episode 20. We are back today doing something special that we haven't done for a little while now. We are doing a return to our series Spotlight. Pat, how are you feeling about today's series Spotlight?
Oh, I love the series spotlights. You know, when we talk about what we're gonna do for these, whenever we mention series spotlights, it's always gonna be a good time
We
because
get we get a little bit psyched. We get a
we
little bit
get a
psyched.
psych, we
We
get
get to
excited. Yeah, feeling very excited about today's one because you guys will see.
It's a special one. It's a special one.
Yeah.
So we've done, for listeners and viewers, who haven't followed our show the whole way through, we've done a couple of these so far. We did cover Super Smash Brothers. I think that was the first one across the generations, and then we also covered And then we also covered the Mass Effect series because that was recently remastered with a special guest, one of our listeners, Ed. So today we were just like, what's out there? You know, everyone's playing games like Diablo 4, Street Fighter 6, whatever. But we did want to bring up a series that doesn't have the spotlight at the moment, but it should because it's so cool and it's
Mm.
something that you should totally get into if you have never tried it before. Today is all about the Fallout series, from PC
Hey.
to console, OG Fallout. Pat, what do you think? Is it worth covering Fallout as a series?
Absolutely. I mean, like, look, Fallout as a series has been an absolute titan. Like, so growing up, I didn't really get into the Fallout series much because I feel like the first few series, like Fallout 1, Fallout 2,
Mm.
my young brain could not comprehend how the whole yeah, how the whole thing worked. I remember fighting rats in the sewer and then I kept missing and I just don't know what the hell. Anyway, but it is as I grew up, my appreciation for it definitely increased, peaking at Fallout 3. That is one of my favorite games of all time, and I'm about to cause a riot here because I'm about to say, in my opinion, that shit is better than Skyrim.
Yeah.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
oh, oh,
Oh,
oh,
there you
oh,
go.
oh, oh.
Oh
That is a
my
big
god.
call.
Yeah, there
Internal
you go.
competition from
Oh
Bethesda. That's
shit. Oh
massive.
yeah, exactly. And that's what it is, right? Bethesda have made some absolutely fantastic games.
Hmm.
They know like the engine that they use. They just know what's up. Like they know how to
Hmm.
create the open world games that immerse you fully.
Hmm.
You know, people that say, "Oh, you know, the games are janky and there's lots of bugs and stuff," but I feel like they know that, but the level of things that you can do
It's
in them,
deliberate. It's deliberate.
yeah, the level of things you can do in the worlds that Bethesda creates is incredible, and like the level of detail,
Hmm.
specifically in the Fallout games, it's just
Hmm.
it's a great series. It's definitely one of my favorites for sure. So very excited
Yeah.
to very excited to go into it.
Awesome. So yeah, like Fallout is an absolutely epic series. We're not gonna just go through every single game today. We are gonna cover a couple of the ones that hooked us in, because it's a very old series. Like it came
Yeah,
out like in the early days of like isometric top-down gaming, as Pat
yeah.
mentioned. It was pretty hardcore back in the day, and then it evolved into like a third-person shooter. But for those who are new to the Fallout series or those who need a little bit of a reminder, because it's been a while, Pat, can you set the scene? This is actually the OG trailer,
This is the OG
um,
trailer.
for the very first one, but can you kind of set the scene what Fallout is and where it's set and what it's about? Like
Yeah,
what is the Fallout universe?
look, I'll do my best. And
Give it a
my
crack.
yeah, look, my facts here maybe they're not going to be 100% accurate, but I will do my best. So have mercy on me if I get something wrong,
We'll make it
listeners and
up.
viewers. So as you can see there, these are the pretty iconic scenes. That guy there is an armor wearing an armor from the Brotherhood of Steel, which you'll see in a lot of the Fallout merch. That's
Mm.
basically like a faction in Split America, but we'll get into that a little bit. You also saw the blonde-haired little mascot, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen now because it's very popular in pop culture, very present, and the dude's name is Pip Boy.
Hmm.
But Fallout is basically the background story of it. I want to say is like it's basically a big what if scenario. that
Mm,
happens. The setting is always in the United States of America. All the games I'm very sure are set in the US,
mm,
just in a post-apocalyptic setting.
mm,
Post-apocalyptic because I believe, again, I don't know if my facts here are correct. The entire premise of this series hinges on the fact that instead of instead of using like fossil fuels and petroleum and stuff for power,
mm,
the
mm,
United States have somehow harnessed nuclear fusion, or they
mm,
managed to use nuclear fusion
mm,
very, very early on in the timeline. So, like after, thus changing the course of history, and you'll find that a lot of the setting when you play the Fallout games are quite nuclear family style. I don't know if any of you will get that reference, but it's like basically think like 50s, 60s America with the white picket fences, like
mm.
very I don't know, very clean style houses, that like that kind of stuff. I'm struggling to find a proper
No, no, I
analogy
know
for
what
it.
you mean. Like that's like the time period that it's set in. So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's almost like a bit of a not like Western, but it's that period in time where it's like black
yeah.
and white TVs and
Correct.
people have
Yeah,
got
correct.
their fedora
50s.
hats and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, 50s, 60s America, however, futuristic in that because they managed to discover nuclear fusion and harness it, you do have robots, you do have futuristic technology and stuff like that, but it is 50s, 60s aesthetic. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's quite a nice mash. Um, Anyway, I digress. So they discovered nuclear fusion. They started harnessing it, and I think they get into a war with like possibly China or something, and
Mm,
they blow each other up with nuclear weapons, and
mm,
that's what causes fallout, which is
mm,
basically just the radioactive fallout from the nuclear war,
mm,
and the game starts in what they call the vault, which is something that the United States of America created to pretty much keep the people in should there be nuclear warfare. So they're spread out across the US. They're
mm,
all deep. They're all deep underground. Um, and in almost all of the games, if I'm not mistaken, all of the games, the
mm.
protagonist is somebody from one of these vaults
Yeah,
where, yeah, something happens, either your like the water system breaks and you have to go out and get water, or like,
yeah. You got to get like the
it's,
water purifier in the first
yeah,
one,
yeah,
for example. That's like
exactly.
your goal. Yeah.
Exactly. So something just happens in these vaults that causes it to malfunction, or you're just waking up in the vaults and you find everyone is dead. But basically, you start off as a vault dweller. Again, if I'm not mistaken, I
Yeah.
think that is the name of the
That is literally the
protagonist.
name. That's literally the
Yeah,
name. It's like you're the vault dweller, and you're the one
yeah,
who's like, you're the one who's, oh, you go outside and fix our life problems, and we'll shut the
yeah,
door behind you.
yeah. The vault dweller. So, and that's pretty much it. You venture out into the
Mm,
big bad world. The different games are set in different areas of the US, but
mm.
that's about the premise of it.
Dude, that's totally bang on. And I mean, I think the thing is, you come to see in these games like they're in that post-apocalyptic America setting. So it's just like sand dunes and smash
Yeah,
cities, and it's
yeah,
like Pat was mentioning. You'll come across as your characters traveling. You come across like these advanced groups, like the Brotherhood of Steel or the
yep,
Enclave,
yep,
and then there are mostly basic societies like scrounging around with like
yep.
spears and Nuka Cola thriving and well, not thriving,
Yeah,
surviving, like with these giant things like scorpions around, and you just,
yeah.
I mean, the
Rad
traditional
Scorpions.
game
Yeah,
is like, yeah, freaking red scorpions. The traditional
yeah,
game is like it's a action. Well, it's an adventure game, a bit like Baldur's Gate. The original ones are, but then they became like third person shooters when it came to Fallout
yeah.
3 and 4. Yeah, fantastic setting. I absolutely love it,
I love
and
it.
I think, like, I mean, there's so much we're going to dive into, but I might just start off a bit with like the OG Fallout 1 and 2, because Pat mentioned he
Absolutely.
jumped on and got into 3. For me, I actually played the very first one and the second one, and this is like I swear to God, is it the 90s, Pat, when these came out? These were very
I
early
think so.
days.
Yeah,
Like,
very. Yeah, look at this. Oh,
this
beautiful.
is like OG Fallout.
Yeah.
So this is like blowing away, mutants. All the quirkiness about like the setting is still there. Very vivid imagery still, mix of like FMV, full motion video, like in the original game. But then also, it's just this top down perspective. I remember like coming into this game and going, like, it's mind blowing because it's the first time you get to experience this kind of world in this setting,
Hmm.
and it's so immersive. But then at the same time, it just had so many kind of like intricate systems that like suck you in
Yeah.
and keep you going. Which is just like an absolute hallmark of Fallout. But yeah, that's sort of like my jump on point. And then when Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 got announced now, third person shooters, that was an amazing change. But yeah, like what I did want to mention was probably some of the systems that are really unique to Fallout that suck you in and are
Yeah.
so interesting. So,
Yeah.
like, for me, one of the things I love about this series is you get your attributes like you would in these kind of role playing games, like
It's
strength,
special.
perception, special. You
Yeah.
get special. Yeah, and it's just it's so genius the way this is designed. Where you've got like if you've got high strength, you can throw grenades, or you can pick up really heavy equipment, for example. Or if you've got high charisma, you can charm people into following you.
Yep.
But it's not just like you've got to figure this out yourself. The game kind of teaches you this using, was it Pip Boy that you were
Pip
saying?
Boy.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Pip Boy.
So there's like this is one of this like videos where they're telling you what special is, and training you like for this world. I love this part of the game where you can kind of choose your stats, play the
I love
game
it
your own
too.
way. It is very much not linear. Hey Pat, like it's very much you make your own
Yeah.
character.
You make your own
Um,
character. And
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I was gonna say, like, it's not all about combat. Like you would
yeah,
think that
yeah,
there's shooting and stuff like that, but it's not you it doesn't have to be all about combat. You literally make your own character. Like you can
yeah.
I don't know if you can go through the entire game without fighting.
Yeah, probably
Pardon
not.
me.
Too many like mole rats or red
Yeah,
scorpions where
exactly.
you got to shoot those things. Like, yeah.
But if you have a high enough charisma,
Hmm.
you can absolutely do far more than you would with with a weapon, because it opens up conversation paths with people. It lets you charm people, like John said. It's just so open, and it's
Yeah.
so good because it lets you build your own character. But yeah, sorry, go on with the
No, no,
systems.
no. I mean, like, I just like Fallout has like such some really unique traits to it. Like, it's not just this apocalyptic. It's not just this post-apocalyptic setting that draws you in, and that's kind of enough of itself. But it's the fact that you can kind of mold the character the way you want to go. You come across all these companion characters. We'll dive into that later on. You've got the VAT system in terms of targeting your enemies. You've got great dialogue options,
Yeah.
all those kind of things. But yeah, there's just so much to this game to dive into. Pat, you were saying, however, that Fallout 3 was your jump on point or your favorite game. Is that right?
Yes, yes. So Fallout 3 was my jump on point. I didn't play Fallout 1 and 2 until later when I
So,
got into Fallout 3,
so
because I
Fallout
was
3
like,
is
oh,
like PS4, PS3? No, PS3, Xbox 360,
PS3. I want to say
PC kind of thing.
PS3. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so this is what it is. So this guy, I forgot what his name is, but this is what I mean with the nuclear family. Like, look at the aesthetic, very like 50s, 60s, mum, dad, two kids, old school homes, but you have a little robot manservant serving you, which
Old
is,
school TV ads, like this is how life should be, kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah. So, Fallout 3, I think, is the as mentioned, the first game that goes into the full 3D, sort of over the shoulder camera. You can get it third person or you can switch it to first person. But
Hmm.
very open world again, very alive world, I should
Mm,
say. But it's set in Washington DC.
mm,
And the level of detail that they've put in this game for Washington
mm.
DC. I mean, look, I've never been to Washington DC, but just reviews and stuff I've seen is yeah, they're like, oh, cool. Like, they put that in there. It's actually pretty accurate kind of thing. which is really really cool. And I love exploring in games. I'm sure I've
Mm.
spoken about my love for open world games in this podcast before, and this just filled
Yeah,
that hole
there's
for me.
it's like Fallout 3, well, all of them. It's the kind of game where you don't just go and you're like, oh, it's a couple of main quests, a couple of side quests, and it's
Yeah,
not like a lot of open. It's not like a lot of box games these days where you're like, right, there's a checklist of things to do. You don't really feel
yeah,
that way. I feel like you
nah,
just like, I gotta survive, man. Like when you
yeah,
enter the world in the very first game, I remember like you're up against mole rats, which sounds ridiculous, with your 9mm pistol, and when you shoot and miss, it's stressful because you're like, I've just lost action points, missing
yeah.
these
There you
things.
go.
Now they're going to bite me. But yeah, sorry, Pat. This is when the game converted to 3D. So this is where it
Yeah,
kind of hooked you in. Were you
yeah.
aware of the previous games, or was this like the
I
first
I
kind of?
was, I
Yeah,
was, yeah. I definitely was aware of the previous games. I just never played them.
yeah.
I only played them after I played Fallout 3
Oh wow, you
because
kind
I
of
was
keen to
like,
go back and be like,
yeah, I
what
came
is
back. I
this?
came back because I was like,
Yeah,
oh shit. I was like, the Fallout series is cool as hell, man. Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna play this. So, yeah, it's look. You could see from the trailer here. It's very cool. These are all gameplay. Like, there is so much to explore and there is so much to do, and the
Yeah.
world is like fully alive. And that you could be walking around, and then a random dude will just walk up to you and start talking.
Mm.
Maybe like if you pick the wrong speech lines, they'll probably try and kill you as anyone would in a wasteland,
Yeah.
or you can make friends with them and they help you out later. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
But you come out of the vault here. You wake up. Sorry, I should say you wake up in the vault. You start off as a child,
Yeah.
but
I
I
feel like you
think
need to
these
talk through that experience, Pat. Like, what happens
yeah,
at the start
okay.
when you? How old are you? Like, you're a little kid, or you're a baby, aren't you?
You
And then
start as a baby. Yeah,
yeah,
you start as a baby.
literally, in a cot or
Yeah,
something, literally.
start as a baby. It serves as the tutorial for the game just to get you used to the
Mm,
basic controls and stuff like that.
mm,
Um, as you complete the mini missions or the mini quests in regards to this tutorial, you sort of jump forward through time and then you grow up. So, you start off, as John said, like a baby, and then you
which
become
is
a
just so
kid.
weird to be like, what? That
Yeah,
blows your mind when you play this game. You're like, what am I doing in a crib? Oh, I'm
yeah.
the baby. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, you become a kid, and then you learn a bit more basic controls. There, you become a teenager, learn a bit more basic controls, including
yeah.
shooting and things like this.
You have a
Then you
birthday
become
party, Pat. You have a
you
birthday
do
party
have a
too.
birthday party. Exactly, you have a birthday party. Um, and then you become an adult, which is where the main game starts. And I think you literally just have one quest, which is like find dad, and that's
Yeah,
it. Like you're literally
yeah,
just doing everything else. You do
yeah,
everything else. Like as soon as you get out of the vault, the world is your oyster, man. Like
yeah,
it's just like Skyrim when you get out of that cave. You can
yeah.
friggin' go wherever you want. You go talk to whoever you want. Yes, you will probably die if you go to an area where there's strong monsters.
Hmm.
But otherwise, it's a good time. Just run away from them, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, you can.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. You
except in the
spend.
first and second game because you got action points and you can
Oh
sort of
yeah, yeah. You could. Yeah,
awkwardly shuffle away and then they'll just like laser you down or stab you down or something. Which is it's hard
yeah,
to go back to those games, but three and four are still
yeah,
gems.
yep. And then you got VATS, as John said, which I think is the Vault Action Targeting System.
Oh,
It's
nice! I had no idea. I was just like, what
I
does VATS actually mean?
I
It's
think
like,
that's what it means. It's basically
yeah,
it stops time for you, and you can
okay,
choose. Yeah, you can choose which part of the opponent to aim at. It basically it turns it into an additional layer of strategy for you because you
hmm.
can decide where to shoot. You can cripple them by shooting them in the leg. You can go for the headshot and just blow the head up. So it's very cool. And then you get these slow mo, like if you get a critical hit, you get these slow mo, like just follows your bullet. Yeah, the
It's
camera
so
follows your bullet slowly, and then it's just yeah, it's great.
It's
Um,
like that is so satisfying though in terms of the core gameplay
so
loop. Like I feel
satisfying.
like because you can play as a third person shooter and it doesn't play as good as something like Wolfenstein or Call of Duty or
Yeah,
Halo or whatever. But like for me, like when I'm playing, it's so satisfying when you've got like your hunting rifle. There's a super mutant over the other
yeah,
side, and
oh
it's
yeah,
like you've got a 60% chance to hit them in the head. And you're like, I'm taking that. That's more than
absolutely.
50. That's
Yeah,
you take that shot, and then it's the zoom in, the slow mo,
yeah.
and it's janky
You
as hell.
know, yeah,
Yeah.
you know that
Yeah,
you know
just
that
hunky.
guy's dead. Yeah, Like that 60% chance, the moment the camera starts following your bullet, you're like,
It's so
oh, his
good
head's
though,
gonna
isn't
blow
it?
off. Yeah, you're
It's
like,
so
oh yeah, I got
satisfying.
him. Yeah, no, it's great. Oh, it's great. It's such a good game. Like for anybody that loves open world games,
Hmm.
loves exploration and just building your own character. Like you are your own, character customization in this game is
Hmm.
pretty damn heavy. Like you make up your own face.
Hmm.
Again, as John said, the special system. You choose if you want to
Hmm.
be brawny, if you want to be
Hmm.
more, science related, because different skill like
Yeah,
there is
you can
lock picking.
yeah,
Yeah,
lockpick things, and
there's
then you
lock
can hack
picking,
computers or
there's
something like that to
hacking.
like turn
Yeah,
turrets on people and stuff like that. Yeah,
exactly. So
yeah.
you decide how you want to play the game, whether you just want to run and gun, or if you
Hmm.
want to be a bit more cool, you can create stuff, like you can create a sword that like a flaming sword almost type of
Oh, I
thing.
forgot that. There's like a, isn't there
Yeah,
like a
it's called a
lightsabery
shish
type?
kebab.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
of
called a
course it
shish
is.
kebab. Yeah.
I forgot
Um,
about that. So good.
you can find blueprints, you can create these weapons. It's really
Hmm.
up to you. Again, if
Hmm.
you want to do the main quest, that's also there. If you would just
Hmm.
want to talk to people, pump up your charisma so
Hmm.
that you almost don't ever have to fight. You'll probably have to fight super mutants because they don't give a shit about you.
Yeah.
Um,
I think like you can get like because you get a luck skill too, which is like good for criticals, but you can
yeah,
also use that for
yeah,
things like gambling, and it's like, oh, I'm just
yeah,
going to make heaps of money by rolling the dice, and then you cash
yeah.
up that way. Like Pat said, you can literally play the way you
However you
like.
want. Yeah,
Did do
however you
you?
want.
There's like also, I think in addition to the special system, there's also like a what's it called, like traits or perks system as well,
Yep.
where your character can have these quirky like things about them that are
Yeah,
pros but also cons. Like, do you remember those? Like, there's like a
yeah,
gunslinger one where you can whip off
yeah,
multiple shots really quickly because you're like a Western gunslinger.
yeah.
I know there's quite a few other quirky ones in
There
there.
is a lot. There is a
Yeah,
lot. So I think every 2 levels in this game, you get to choose a perk, or you get to choose a perk or
so
a
exciting
trait.
when you get it too, isn't it? You're like,
It's
yes,
cool,
I
yeah.
can't wait for my perk. I just need my perk.
Yeah, but you have a choice between two or three. So you really
Hmm.
have to decide what you want your character to look like or how you want your
Hmm.
character to be. And
Hmm.
yeah, it's just great. There's also a minor open morality system, just like in
Hmm.
Skyrim, where
Hmm.
you can literally just decide to go into a town and blow everyone up. It's up
Hmm.
to you. But that obviously consequences of that is that you're not going to be able to find traders. You would have nowhere to sell your stuff to. You can't buy equipment, things like this. But
Hmm.
you can decide to just kill everyone. So
Hmm. I'm
it's
gonna
up
run a
to
bit more
you.
of that stuff in the background too with the video because there's more about that too. Yeah, that choice is awesome, and I think that's like what really defines the Fallout series because so for
Choice.
like
Nice.
I think like what I really liked is a post-apocalyptic setting, but I like that you have a
Yeah.
VAT system which keeps you interested and integrated. I like that you've
Yeah.
got like your special system. It's like, yeah, I can be this kind of character and play it my way. I like it that you can choose these perks. I remember there's one that's like makes you like just immune to radiation or something like that.
Yeah.
There's so much like in this game. But Pat, like when you were playing, in terms of the combat and the fighting and all that stuff, did you have any kind of like memories or particular weapons or kits or things that you're like, I can't wait till I've got that, or now you've got that, you played things a certain way? Do you have anything that stands out to you from the games
Hunting
you've played?
rifle.
Yeah, what do you
Always
got?
always the hunting rifle for me.
Hunting rifle, yeah,
Hunting
yeah.
rifle and this cool like mercenary armor that I love wearing because I just look so cool in it with my hunting rifle at the back. You look like a mercenary just traveling the wasteland. It's
Yeah,
great. But yeah, the hunting rifle is my favorite weapon. I don't know why.
yeah.
It's just so satisfying when you friggin'
Hmm.
fire it and
Hmm.
you blow someone's head up. Oh, it's just so good.
I love the so for me I love the power armor. Like I think in all the
Oh,
games
okay.
I
Yeah.
can't like there's a point in all the games where you start like cuz you start off pretty like pov man. Like you start off with like a
Yeah. Oh,
simple
yeah.
gun, a spear in one
Yeah.
of the games. I think it's Fallout 2 you start with like a spear. And you need more than a spear in this game, trust me. And as you go along, you come across like different factions, and one of them's the Brotherhood of Steel, and you're like, what the hell are they wearing? how do I score that?
Yeah,
Like, they've got this ridiculous power armor, which you're like, that is probably going to be helpful for me if I'm fighting 3 or 4 super mutants with laser miniguns. I need that. So, like, I feel like it's a massive achievement if or when you do get that power armor and you just see your defense stats fly up. You can carry miniguns like they're toys,
yeah,
and it's all good. Yeah, but also remember with the first, I don't know if you would have seen it, but in the first or the second Fallout, the combat's a little bit janky now, so the physics aren't as advanced as they were in the third and fourth game. But I love
yeah.
throwing grenades in the first one. So you throw a grenade, you blow someone up, and then they just slide slowly, slowly. It would just keep going
Yeah.
until the computer like picked up that they were stopping. So they just slowly. You'd be watching this for like 5 minutes, just watching this crowd of awkwardly going, okay, I think there's some like real jank there, like
That's
going
so
on.
funny.
But speaking of the jank, like Pat, how do you feel about like all the bugs and jank? Because with Starfield coming up being a Bethesda game and all the expectations around that, Fallout has its own jank, and you can go back to those games
Yeah,
now, and number 3 and 4, the faces look janky. But
yeah.
besides that, there's the bugs bit. But did the bugs ever bother you? How did you feel at the bugs when you played? When you saw like the awkward camera pans and people bend over awkwardly when they're hit, and what did you think
Mm,
about all that? Like as a
I,
gamer.
I look. I'm not the type of person that
Mm,
whinges about this type of stuff.
me
Like
too.
I just take them as part of the game. So
Yeah.
like if I shoot someone and their body folds in half weirdly and it just
Yeah.
like it glitches out or the
Yeah.
graphics clip, I
Yeah.
just laugh.
Yeah.
I just laugh. I don't go, oh my God, what a shit game. Like I
You
can't believe they
destroyed the
released this
realism of
shit.
a
Yeah,
robot there. It's like a butler, you know.
yeah, I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe they released this crap. Like, what the hell is wrong
Yeah.
with these people? Like,
Yeah.
I don't get
Yeah.
outraged by it. Like, if I see a graphics clip, more often,
Mm.
like, it clips, like, when my head goes into a wall or something, like, more often than not, I laugh. I'm just like, well,
That's so
like,
funny,
yeah, like,
right?
I don't go and I don't have a whinge about Bethesda. I don't go, oh, what a crap game. I can't
You don't
believe
jump
it's so
online and
crappy.
troll them about being 59 frames per second when they should be
Yeah,
60,
like,
or whatever. I don't know.
the only time I will ever care about that is if my gameplay gets affected. So
Yeah.
like if I can't progress the story, like or if something happens, I have to I have to restart my PS3 or whatever. Like I don't care,
Hmm.
man. Like
Yeah.
as long as it doesn't happen every 20 seconds where I'm like taking
Yeah.
2 steps and then I have to do it, then okay, yeah, I'm gonna be a bit crap. I'm gonna be a bit shitty about that. But
Yeah.
as far if it happens here and there, and to be honest as much as people complain about bugs in like Fallout 3 and
Hmm.
I don't know so much about 4,
Nah,
but
for people like you had the kind of trademark Bethesda,
yeah, like the things
glitches
that
and
you've
that.
come to expect of Bethesda, like the glitches, like I don't really experience any
Mm.
of that stuff. I experienced
Mm.
some of it, like, but
Mm. It's
not
not
enough
game
to make
breaking
me,
though, right? It's not
yeah,
like it
not enough to
ruins
make
the
me
whole
go,
game
oh
and
my God, yeah, like,
yeah.
yeah. So it was a good time. I really enjoy it. As a gamer, I'm not the complainer type. Like,
Yeah.
I will just run with it, and I will just be like, yeah, I'll just enjoy my time. Like, I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm there to have fun. Like,
Yeah, like these games are chaotic. Like when you're playing Fallout 3 or 4, even the original ones, and you're in like a gunfight with your allies, or there's factions fighting, and you jump in the middle, and you're like, now I can like take them both out at the same time, like a kind of like
yeah,
a death claw, and then there's
yeah,
like an enclave
they're
person or
fighting.
whatever there is.
Yeah,
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 yeah, I'm just gonna throw like a bomb in there and see what
yeah,
happens. It's
yeah.
funny. Like it sounds
It is
ridiculous,
funny.
but it's actually really funny.
It
Like
is funny.
it's part of the charm of the game.
It
But
is.
one thing I did want to touch on is companions. We haven't talked about them yet. So, kind of like all Bethesda games, like in Skyrim as well, companions are a pretty big part of this game. Like, you can, I think, like, what do you call them? Factions. Like, there's all these different kind of factions in the game. There's like the Brotherhood, and there's the Minutemen,
Yeah,
and there's the Children of Atom, which are like
yeah.
this, like
There's
atom
the
bomb
enclave.
worshipping
Yeah,
people. Yeah, there's the Enclave.
yeah.
There's there's like there's quite a lot. What did you think about the companion system like, and do you have any like memorable companions? Like did that add to the game for you, or were you just like, I don't give a shit?
Um, yeah. So in Fallout 4, did you have
Yeah.
a dog? Don't you have a dog
Yeah, you've
in
got
Fallout 4? Yes.
dog meat
Yeah,
who just like
yeah,
retrieves stuff for you. Yeah, and
yeah.
fights.
So you got a proper companions there, but yeah. So I guess it adds to the environment, doesn't it? It adds to the world building. It gives the
Mm,
character having these like actively moving factions in
mm,
the background. Because
mm,
that's great. Like you got the Brotherhood of Steel, like we said, Enclave,
mm,
which are the two factions that are going up against each other.
mm,
I can't actually remember for the life of me what they
mm.
stand for and what they
I
represent.
I think like it's
I
been a
think
while. I feel like the Brotherhood of Steel is just like super powered humans. Like they're like the dominant faction that protects themselves. I think there's a religious
yeah, they're
aspect
like
there slightly. They're kind of like
one of them is definitely the government,
yeah.
which I think is the Enclave. I think
Okay,
the
because I feel like
Enclave,
the Enclave are like the bad guys because there are sort of like
yeah,
grey areas and good
it
guys,
is
bad guys.
very gray area.
Yeah.
Um,
So like for example, like the Enclave in the fourth game, there's a faction called the Railroad, and they're part of this movement that is liberating synths, which are like these like robots, but with people personalities, and they're trying to
yeah,
liberate them from the Enclave where they're being experimented on.
yeah,
And you can
yeah,
join the Railroad, or you can fight against it. And you
yeah,
can meet characters from either side, which is really kind of fascinating.
yeah,
And see different parts of the game you wouldn't see, kind of like Skyrim, depending on which faction you choose.
yeah.
Yeah, it really kind of like plays into the whole choice thing. Hey,
Absolutely. And
yeah,
yeah, I just looked it up. The Enclave is the
yeah.
representation of the government.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, of the government of the United States of America. So
Yeah.
they're like a paramilitary organization. But yeah, pretty much they go up against the Brotherhood of Steel,
Yep.
which I'm not sure what the Brotherhood of Steel represent.
It's been a
But
while.
they're like, yeah, it's been a while, but all I remember is that the Enclave are like the fascists. Like they represent like fascism,
Hmm. Hmm.
which is not ideally what you want to stand for, really, if you
No.
think about it. So, um,
No.
yeah, not really something you want to stand for.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's you can choose to join them if you really want. They'll
Hmm.
be working with like the president of the United States, I guess, to a degree. But
Yeah.
yeah, the different factions are amazing. They definitely like give value to the world.
Yeah, and I think they kind of like make you feel like you're aligned with someone. Like I
Yeah,
think early on in Fallout 4 it is one of the factions you come across as the Minutemen, which is this kind of conglomeration, this group of people who are like a volunteer corps who are basically
yeah,
protecting societies around Fallout, which is kind of what's needed in this world. And
yeah,
it's you kind of like, yeah, I'll take up that mantle. You know, I'm gonna join you. I'm gonna help out. I'm gonna
yeah,
forget my overarching story to do whatever I need
yeah,
to for my vault.
yeah,
Yeah, so no, it's awesome. Like all the value these like kind of factions can
yeah.
add. Yeah,
Speaking of four, though,
yeah.
speaking of four, they 100%. What do you call it?
Hmm.
They upped the stakes with four from three
Like
because in
visually,
four,
or like from what we're seeing here, or just like
everything,
yeah,
everything. Like
yeah.
they added like base building components because
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can build your own base or like
Yes,
in four.
yes, you can.
Um,
You can. Yeah, yeah.
the
It's quite
power armor mechanics are
Yep.
completely changed because in three, don't you just wear? I'm pretty sure you just wear the power armor and then
Correct.
nothing else happens. But
Yeah.
in four, you actually
Yes.
ride the goddamn power
Yes.
armor,
It's
which is
like a
freaking
vehicle
epic.
with like a
Yeah,
battery. You're like, oh, I can cruise around
yeah,
a lot faster now. This is quite handy. This is power
yeah.
armor.
You ride the goddamn power armor, and like, yeah, you can
Yeah.
run out of fuel, you can run out of battery, and then you're shit out of luck because you're stranded there. But I thought that was a really cool, albeit
Hmm.
frustrating mechanic because
Hmm.
I don't want to have to resource manage when I'm wearing my damn
Hmm.
power armor. Because in Fallout
Hmm.
3, I just put that shit on and start
Yeah.
beating the crap out of everyone. Like, but yeah, it adds that level of complexity where you have to resource manage because you 100% would want to have your power armor if you were going up against a death claw, just like
Yes.
playing in the trailer right now.
Yes.
You don't want to be going up against that dude without
Yeah.
without your power armor.
No, some of
But
the monsters, like some of the enemies in this game, are intense. Like the super mutants who are decked out with full armor and laser
yeah,
guns, like laser
yeah.
miniguns. You're not going to use your SMG on them. You're not going to, you
Oh,
need,
there you
this is the
go.
power armor. You need that kind of, I feel like you do need it when you play these games,
Yeah,
particularly in the
absolutely.
original ones too. Like in the late game,
Yeah,
you're like, I actually need my las guns. I need my power armor.
yeah,
You need your, is it stim packs? Like, which is like boost your health and stuff like
yeah,
that. Like there's a bunch
yeah,
of health little boost things, stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah, you
And
kind of need it.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, you got the added again complexity of base building.
Mm.
I believe that Fallout 4 is set in
Is it
Boston.
Washington? Boston? Okay.
Washington is number three.
Washington's
Washington is
three.
number
Okay.
three.
Okay.
Yeah, number four. I want to say Boston. I
Okay.
don't know. I want to know. I want to say Boston for number four. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's correct. So correct me if I'm wrong, uh, listeners and viewers. But I'm putting my bets on Boston.
Nah, you're probably right. You're
Um,
probably right.
the setting for it is further in the future than Fallout 3.
Hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, 10 or 20 years.
Hmm.
10 or 20 years, but yeah, different part of America. And as John said, you've got these different I don't think they had synths in Fallout 3. So
Yeah, I don't remember them
that's a
from
new
Fallout
fact.
3. I remember
Do
like the
you?
mastermind. No, they're not in Fallout 3. I remember
Oh,
in
okay,
number
yeah,
one,
okay.
there's like there's robots
Ooh,
and turrets and stuff like that, but not
yeah.
synths. Synths are kind of like
No.
a new kind of moral dilemma and faction they bring into number four.
Yeah.
Oh my god, and the story with that too, Pat. I don't know if you have like completed
Fallout
four, but
4?
yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah. So basically Fallout 3 find dad, Fallout
yeah.
4 find child.
Yeah,
I think
exactly. It's like
yeah.
you're the dad and you find the kid.
Yeah.
It's like mind bending the way it goes. Hey, like you
Yeah.
just like, and all the
Yeah.
dilemmas and things you do and can't do. You're like,
Yeah.
don't know how I feel about all of this,
Yeah.
but
I
it's
heard
Fallout.
from Yeah, I heard from my friend that apparently the writer based the stories on what he was going through at the time, the main
Wow.
writer. So like when they were writing up Fallout 3, it was a fine parent because he was going through a thing at the time, and then he became a parent during the
Hmm.
writing of Fallout 4, and that's why it became sort of fine child centric and being about a parent. So
Hmm.
I don't know if you've played Fallout 4 recently, John, but I feel like
Hmm.
you'll
I know.
find yeah, it might hit home for you. It might hit
Yeah.
home if you pick up Fallout 4.
It's an awkward position that the game puts you in, like with three having your birthday parties as a kid and growing up and looking for your dad, who I think it's Liam Neeson or something like that. It's like,
He's
yeah,
definitely a decent. Yeah,
who's your dad? And so that's like the dream come true for everyone, of course. And then the
yeah.
fourth one, it's like now you need to find your son,
Who
and
is
then the
not Liam
thing,
Neeson?
yeah, who's not Liam Neeson, and who you find things out about, and you're like, oh god, like moral dilemmas left, right, and center. How do I feel about this game?
Yeah,
Um, yeah, but look, Pat, we're gonna have to wrap up soon.
yeah.
Are there any kind of things like two things I kind of wanted to cover before we finish off was are there any kind of outstanding moments or features or just anything in general about the Fallout games that you like stood out for you that you really like that you recommend people like make it a really good game worth playing that people like is there anything at all like and I've got so
Yep.
I mean yeah is there anything that stands out
Oh,
to you like in
I think I
particular?
may have. Yeah, I think I may have
Yeah,
touched on it earlier in
yeah.
this podcast already. But basically, look, if you like post-apocalyptic, post-war type of aesthetic, that kind of
Mm,
stuff. If you like open world, you like exploration, you like non-linear,
mm-hmm.
you like gunplay, you
Mm,
know, it's all. I recommend this series heavily to you because the
mm,
story is actually good. The core of it
mm.
sounds very basic because you're always like, oh, save, you know, you're always some type
But
of
it's never basic, it's never straightforward, is
no,
it? There's
no,
like
and that's the
so
thing.
much to it. Yeah.
That's the thing because the world is so alive
Mm,
and so like full of detail that even though your main quest is literally find your dad or find your child,
mm,
the journey you take to get there could
mm,
be 2 hours or it could be 1,000 hours. It's
mm,
like it's really up to you. Like it's you build your own character, you go through the world as you would. You're not locked into any morality decisions. You could be a complete asshole if you want to and just shoot everybody in the face.
You can
Or
literally do that to like characters you
yeah,
just meet, and you're like, and then you're banned
yeah,
from a town basically, and you're like, why did I
yeah,
do that? Because I can't access their shop now, and I need to,
yeah.
you know.
Or
Yeah.
you can choose to do good in the world and try and save everybody and be kind to everyone you meet. Like
Good
it's
luck with that.
yeah. Oh god, yeah. You'll meet some absolute kids. But um, that's really for
Yeah,
me
yeah.
personally. That's the main draw of this game. Like just
Yeah. Like the
go
freedom of
over
choice type
the
thing.
freedom of choice. The
Yeah.
freedom of choice.
Yeah,
That is the
man.
main draw.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
quality. That's the thing about these Bethesda games, and I think that's why Starfield and any other future games are so exciting because of that freedom of choice. Like, it's
yes,
just it offers that in a unique setting, just like Skyrim does
yep.
as well. It's fantastic, and no doubt Starfield will. For me, I love the radio. Do you remember the radio? Like, I think it was
Yeah.
like the radio
Oh
station.
yeah, yeah. How can I forget?
Yeah,
It
I was
plays
just
such
like,
old
there's
school
so
music. Oh, it's
yeah,
so
the old
cool.
school music. So like, I mean, so people who haven't played this game, you might think, look, it can be a bit barren or empty, wandering around, third person,
Yeah,
are you into shooters, all
true.
that stuff. But one kind of feature that cleverly kind of bypasses this, I think, is the radio. So you can listen to different radio stations where you'll hear like propaganda flowing, or you'll hear like old swing music from the 60s and
Yeah,
70s, which
yeah.
is great. Like, it's actually a wonderful soundtrack. I think you could probably hear it on Spotify or
It's a
something.
great soundtrack.
It's so good. And for me, like, with or without a companion, it makes this game a lot less kind of lonely in a way. It's like, oh, I've got my
Yeah,
like music running in the background. I'm just blasting super mutants away, and then I'll flip over a channel to listen to like one of the radio like
propaganda.
announcers who yeah propaganda.
Three dog.
Yes. Yes. Do you want to explain a little? It's so
It's
good.
just, it's just a radio station of this dude that's just like anti. Isn't he anti propaganda?
Yeah,
He's like
I
anti
love him so
propaganda.
much. You get to meet him. Yeah,
You get to meet him exactly.
yeah.
His
If
name
you
is
want to,
Three Dog.
if you can find
Yeah,
him,
exactly, exactly. If you can find him, that's right.
he's so
Yeah,
good.
yeah. His name is Three Dog, and basically that's just his intro. And it's just if you play this game, this will get implanted in your memory.
Three Dog is the
Like Three
best.
Dog, yeah, yeah. It's Dog.
Three Dog. I love it. It's so good.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, this is like one of the most memorable worlds you'll explore. It's so well crafted.
it's
Whether you
well
want to jump
crafted.
in at 4 or 3 or 2 or 1, I wouldn't start with the early ones. I'd probably start with 4, Pat. And that's the
Yeah,
last thing I kind of wanted to cover off is like, do you think, Pat, like Fallout 4's been out for quite a while. Do you think this is a series that gamers can jump into now? And do you
yeah.
recommend any particular game that they jump into?
Well, do you know what the best part about it is? The best
Yeah.
part is that they are all freestanding. Like
Yeah.
just because you got Fallout 1, 2, 3, 4 does not mean they tie into it. Like sure, the lore, the lore there might be like an overarching lore that will be the same, but
Yes.
the stories in and of themselves is very, very freestanding. The Vault Dwellers are not related to each other. Like
Yeah.
there's a main faction, like the main factions obviously stay, so like the Enclave, Brotherhood of Steel, they're all in the games if I'm not mistaken, but your protagonist and the story very,
Yep.
very freestanding.
Yeah.
They are of no relation, so whether or not tomorrow you pick up Fallout 3 for $2 somewhere and you play
Yeah.
that,
Yep.
absolutely go for it. If you
Yeah.
find Fallout 4 somewhere or your friend gives it to you,
Yep.
definitely go for it. We didn't even touch on New Vegas, but I don't really care
Yeah.
about New Vegas that much. I'm sorry.
Start with the big ones.
Yeah.
Start with the big chunks. New Vegas, meh. I mean, like, there's other forms of Fallout like
It's
Shelter and
far
New
more,
Vegas.
yeah, it's far more linear for me in New Vegas. That's why I'm like, I don't know why. I don't know why. I just 3 and 4 for me are the optimal games.
Hmm.
So literally, even though I don't care about New Vegas, you can pick up New Vegas and play it because it gives you the same Fallout experience. It's a great game. They are great games. Even if you go to a swap meet and you find someone is selling Fallout 1 or 2 in that little cute package, the box, absolutely go and buy it. You can buy it from Steam nowadays for like $1.50 or
It's
$2.50 on
worth a dollar
sale.
fifty or
It's
$2.50.
worth
Like,
$2.50. It's worth $2.50. So it's great, great series. Great series.
yeah.
Give it a try if you have not. Um, promise you will not regret it.
Yeah, it's seriously, it's the games might have aged graphically a little bit, but they still look good. You could definitely get into 3 and 4. It's one of those games kind of like Skyrim where you're like, all right, this is older, but if you want an immersive world that is unlike anything else, with the funny bits, the fun bits,
Yeah.
um, pure freedom, absolutely get into it. But that's all we have for today. Thanks, viewers and listeners, for joining us. Time flies by quickly. We loved Fallout. We've played through what,
Oh, yeah.
three, four, and I've played through one. Like, it's a wonderful series. It's such a good series. Deserves a spotlight. Pat, did you have any final words for our viewers and listeners about Fallout before
I
we?
about Fallout? Yeah, Fallout's a fantastic game, but for more of a general announcement thing, I
Yeah,
believe that John, you will have a special co-host next week
that's right. That's right.
because I am not going to be here.
That's
Sadly,
true.
listeners and viewers, I'll be going away for the weekend, so I will not be able to. But John has a surprise lined up for you guys.
We have a person of Perth, so another local listener who's keen to be on the show. We're excited to have her too. So look out for that next week. We'll probably put the episode up next Sunday as we usually do, and then Pat will be back as well. So
The following week.
yeah, we'll go into the topic on the day, but yeah,
Yeah,
again,
exciting.
it's good
Um,
stuff. We appreciate all our listeners. We've had some contact from people outside of Perth as well, just about the show, and we do appreciate all your feedback. So for those of you who are listening and watching, we've still got our website. We're up to episode 20 now. If you've missed something, we've covered like a whole range of stuff, from the Mario movies to boss fights to our favorite games. Some of the big showcases and gaming culture. We've covered a lot of those things. We're looking to continue on at least until the end of this year. We still have a website, perthgamingcrew.com. There's a contact form if you want to contact us. But thank you so much, listeners and beyond, for hanging around. Go play some Fallout. There are so many games out there, but if you're looking for something that's exciting or you've never seen this series, jump in, particularly with 3 or 4. You won't go wrong. But that is all from us for the rest of the show. And have a great week, everyone. That's PGC over and out.